That's beer being made. Miller beer. You kind of have to come to the Miller Brewery when you visit Milwaukee, since beer's what made this place, and beer's what keeps everyone here going. It's like their gasoline, beer is. If you come to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and you don't drink beer, well, then you won't have a very good time. Way back in 1854, a German named Frederick Miller came to Milwaukee, and he opened up a teeny little brewery near downtown. Paid $2,300 for it. And he tinkered with his recipe, and he released Miller Beer 1 year later in 1855. And Milwaukee was never the same. You could say Miller Beer helped define Milwaukee. And it was well into the third week on our Great Lakes adventure, and I had a lot of beer. Too much beer. I drank all over Michigan, and of course in Green Bay. You know, for research. I felt like shit and looked kind of rough at this point, but doing it for YouTube views. I was beginning to wonder how these people do it. But here we are, where it all began, in the beer drinking capital of the world and in the drunkest state in the nation. I spent 3 days in Milwaukee as part of this road trip. I'd never seen the place before, and I had heard so much about it. We'll see the drinking scene. We'll check out this exciting downtown I had heard all about. And you know, I'll show you the hoods. You've been patient with me up to this point. There really haven't been a lot of ghettos since I left Detroit. But I gotcha. Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. Saturday, Sunday, Milwaukee is the place for you. Do 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 do. Okay, so right now I'm walking around in pretty much the worst of Milwaukee's hoods. I'm right in the middle of it right here on the northwest end. And there's really not a lot going on. So there I was in the middle of the worst neighborhood in Milwaukee. Now, most of you wouldn't even drive through the worst part of Milwaukee because you're scared. But not me. I usually don't get out of the car. No need for that. But after crisscrossing around Milwaukee's roughest sides for a day, I finally just had to get out. I was like, this is nothing. This is all you got? Well, as I'd learned, this one morning would define my whole perspective on Milwaukee. The MLK, Milwaukee, Mill, Smallwaukee. That's because it has a big town, small city feel. That's what they say around here. Milwaukee's been called a blue-collar town with a drinking problem. A former manufacturing city that saw some hard times. A long time ago, Milwaukee was churning out steel products and a lot of meat and a lot of beer. That was going well up until about World War II. The place was booming. And then, well, the script is the same for all these Midwest places. When the 50s came, factories began to close, and people got poor. The white people went to the burbs. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Milwaukee lost 200,000 people in the 60 years after World War II. It was bad. Not as bad as Detroit. There were riots and ghettos and violence here too, though. A lot of other cities in this part of the country, they never recovered from those rough years in the second half of last century. Milwaukee, though, it's kind of been able to make a turnaround, at least economically, in some parts of town. You could call it a Rust Belt city that's doing a pretty good job of reinventing itself. There's been a downtown renaissance here. The place is diversified. There's some big companies that make Milwaukee their HQ today. Rockwell Automation, Johnson Controls, Kohler, Harley Davidson, GE, A.O. Smith, and then some financial companies like Deloitte and Northwestern Mutual, and even some tech. And if you're into the trades, you'd have a long career here. Is a car allowed to do that? If you talk to people around town today, I think you'll hear mostly positive. They're excited about the downtown area. There's new stuff everywhere, they say. We have all these new restaurants and condos and shopping. A lot of our big cities are worried about adding more buildings because people are leaving them. But not here. Up, up, up. And it's so clean everywhere here. I didn't see any trash. Look, they even vacuumed the hotel porches. This used to be an old mall. Well, people don't shop in those anymore. So they turned it into this big food court, market, co-working thing. The place was packed. Longest lines were for booze, brats, and cheese. There was a lot of that. A lot of their old factories have been turned into something useful. This is their historic Third Ward. And this place was a dump in the 1990s. But not anymore, it isn't. It's this hip, new, cool area, and it was packed when we were here. They turned a lot of these old warehouses and industrial stuff down here into places people can live. Now, I don't know if it's affordable or not, but it's housing. It's all this fancy stuff and young and trendy people walking around. I was like, dang. Can't find a place to park down here on the weekends anymore either. I haven't seen a crowd like this since we were in Austin. But part of that's because it was so warm outside. If you've been following along, you'd know that most of the trip's been record warm. Just so happened that we picked the warmest winter on record to come up here and document winter. I wanted to show cold and ice and freezing, but not on this trip, not after we left the Upper Peninsula. When we were in Milwaukee, it was 60 and sunny. Were people jogging with shorts on? I saw that all over. I even had the AC on one day. It was that warm. I know. Milwaukee in the wintertime. Crazy. They're really glad they cleaned up that river. That's the Milwaukee River. That was a big problem. All these factories down here have been dumping chemicals into that thing for decades. Well, today it's all cleaned up, and the riverfront's very popular. I saw people all over the place exercising and hanging out, and they didn't look scared of bumping into weirdos. They have festivals and events and all sorts of reasons for people to come down here. Summerfest, German Fest, Italian Fest, Polish Fest. I'm sure there's a beer fest. A very festive city it is. And they have a major university down here too. It's called Marquette. It's a big deal. Jet Setter called Milwaukee the fourth most interesting destination in the world once. In the world? And the second most interesting place in the country? Well, I don't know about all that. But I can say it's kind of like a mini Chicago. A better Chicago. I also judge downtown on how many bums and lowlives are wandering around. Well, 3 days I was here, I saw 2 homeless people and 4 panhandlers. I counted them all. 'Cause you could. It was nice not to see this everywhere. I'm not gonna lie. This part of the state's the most crowded part of Wisconsin. A lot of up north is pretty rural, and the southern half, it's pretty crowded. For Wisconsin standards. About 40% of Wisconsin's population's down here. The politics here, they're pretty different from the rest of the state. Milwaukee hasn't had a Republican mayor in like 100 years. And they even had a socialist mayor one time in the 1940s. It was a really big deal. People still talk about it. And the rest of the state, they don't like Milwaukee's politics very much. Because the area is surrounded by red. Red, red, red. Hard red. Hardcore Republican counties that always bitch about the crime here. And that's going to take us to your favorite part. So supposedly this is one of the bad neighborhoods, bad streets. I've been driving around for a while. And you do have some pieces of land that are gone now, but this is nothing. I got shot right there on the corner. I got another one. Both died? They poured out, we got booze bottles for a memorial. Now sometimes when you ask people where their bad side of town is, you get a few different opinions. Not here. There's a clear ghetto area in Milwaukee. It's right there. Everything north and west of downtown, that's the part of town causing all the problems. If some people in this part of town could get their shit figured out, Milwaukee would be a better place for everyone. So I spent a day driving around Milwaukee's hoods. There's a whole video on that, don't you worry. Now, visually, it's pretty bad. I saw all the things you see in a bad part of town. Abandoned houses, crackheads, drug dealing, graffiti. Most of you would be pretty intimidated in here. I just think I'm all numb to it by now. But to be honest, the vibe in here is pretty chill.
He said, yep, it pretty much be a lot going on. Like, I try to stay out the way, man. Stay in the house, do good, working or something. Pretty much just staying humble.
Who's most of the trouble? Like the kids that are in high school, like the young kids?
High school, from like 21 to 27, 28, I get you. Them the nutty ones now. The older guys know what's going on. It's that area mainly, and then everybody that run after them. I don't know why. It's like they wanna prove a point or something.
That's Eric. He was one of a few people I stopped to talk to when I was in the hood that day. There were a lot of people outside, but none of them were threatening. To me, anyways. I think the bigger problem they have is the beef with one another. According to the FBI, Milwaukee's number 6 for dangerous big cities in the whole country. And you probably didn't know that. It's murders, shootings, robberies, gangs. Now, a lot of people in here, they're quick to point out that a big part of the problem are the Chicago people coming up here. They're ruining it, they say. We hate Illinois people because their lowlives come up here and they take advantage of the welfare benefits and have babies and gang bang. They fume. It's kind of true, though. Milwaukee's seen a huge jump in violent crime and shootings and murders. And almost all of that happens in this part of town right here. The hell? This is the third one I've seen. There's 2. Right here. Another memorial from some people that I guess probably got shot. And then there's another one over here. Now, after they lost all those people in the 60s, things here have sort of stabilized. But they're still losing people here. The whole area is. The poor blacks, they're tired of the crime and the cold. And the latest trend is all the white people, they're moving to the burbs or they're going down to the south. So despite the turnaround here, they still got some shit to figure out.
Did you know Milwaukee was named as the worst place to live in America for black people?
Well, how do they know that, Mappy?
Black people here are poorer and they're in jail more than just about any other city. They need to get jobs and stop taking the easy way out. Everyone here wants to be a G.
Well, I don't know if it's everybody here. I know a lot of people in Milwaukee who had their shit figured out. It's just too bad the bad ones make the good ones look bad. And by the way, where's the worst city for black people, Mappy?
Waterloo, Iowa.
Waterloo, Iowa? I thought it'd be Chicago or something. What?
Head southeast on Nightlife Drive toward East Hampton Road. In 800 feet, turn right onto East Hampton Road.
Look at this, everyone. This just had me all kinds of wow. This is a nice side of town where the fancy people live. They are rich. This is a neighborhood called the Upper East Side, it's over by the lake. Now, this looks pretty good. Homes here are about $600,000 to $1 million. A lot of this is big, older homes that I bet brewing barons lived in at some point. It's like this all over North Milwaukee. It goes from here all the way up to Shorewood and Whitefish Bay, all the way up to Cedarburg, right along the lake. I show a lot of that in another video I did on small town Wisconsin. But I did not think Milwaukee was capable of this much charm. But what did I know anyways? I'd never been here before. By the way, if you know somebody who wants to move to Milwaukee, email me. I know several super agents here that I can introduce you to. You just might like it here. No joke. Most of the town, though, they just live quiet, middle-class lives. They eat brats, they go to pubs, they hunt up Nort on the weekends, go watch a Brewers game, or spend a day out on the lake when it's warm. It's not a bad place to be if you stay out of the bad areas. It's cheap up here. Homes are about $220,000 up here. And there are deals for days here. So, if you got a young family and you don't mind cold and you drink a lot, this is an option. You might like it. It's really diverse here, and it's trending younger. You can even walk to bars and parks from neighborhoods like this. And a lot of their hoods have improved. Another up-and-coming part of town is the Bayview Hood. It's down on the south side. Well, this place is all hipstered out. A lot of people call it Gay View, since there's a lot of gay people down here now. And they have a lot of money. It's about $100,000 more for a house down here than it is in the normal neighborhoods like we saw earlier. People around here say, Bayview's getting too expensive. Well, I guess $400K for a house is pricey for Milwaukee standards. But get used to it, everyone. It ain't going down. There's just a lot of people down here walking their dogs, just chit-chatting, probably talking about beer. And look, even the Hispanics have their own corner bar. So all over Bayview and these Milwaukee neighborhoods, you have these little corner bars in the middle of these neighborhoods. People tell me I need to see this place called the Bubbler, where Milwaukee drinks. Doesn't get any more towny than that. Locals only. Before I even opened the door, I heard the very distinct sound of bar dice being slammed down. Totally local bar. I opened the door up. Everybody looked at me like, who's that guy? Just a thirsty YouTuber. That's all. Here's another famous place down here. It's also in the hip, cool part of town. It's called Don's TV and Repair. It's one of those speakeasy, found art, diner type of places. Just a tourist trap. Wasn't that cool? But the whole south side down here, look at this architecture. The north end, it's all blacks, and the south side down here, it's all Hispanics. Whoever's in charge of this side of town has done a really good job keeping all this relevant and interesting. I mean, it is warm today. Shorts. Can't do that in most Februaries. And the lake, duh. That's Lake Michigan. There she is again. Last time we saw that lake, we were in Green Bay. And when we were down here, it seemed like the whole damn city was out here exercising and hanging out, because it was 60 in February. And in the summer, it's bonkers down here. Ever heard of Summerfest? They say it's the biggest music festival in the world. Downtown can just be crazy busy in the summer when there's a festival going on and the brewers are in town. And look, beaches. This is Bradford. Somebody told me it's the most popular beach in town. Hardly any parking, but a lovely scene it is, even in the winter. Beautiful Lake Michigan on the western shore. Oh, that's cold. Oh yeah. That is cold. Across there is Michigan, where we started and where we're going to end up at the end of this trip. It's about 100 miles across there to the... All right, here we go. I was busy when I was in town. There is a lot to do in downtown Milwaukee. Now I'm going to show you all the things I saw and did. And I was busy. My schedule was packed, mister. But let me just tell you up front. I think Milwaukee's my new favorite place. And I did not think I'd say that. So I hear that when tourists like me come for the first time, they're always like, wow, I had no idea Milwaukee was so cool and there's so much to do. Well, I was like that too. Yeah, they have Harley Davidson, Laverne and Shirley, Happy Days, big zoo, festivals. But it's the damn bars. Bars, bars, bars. Milwaukee has 2,300 bars. No, they don't have that many, but they have a lot. There's a bar for every 1,800 people here. That sounds like trouble. But it's a tradition that brings people together. Some Wisconsin people say you can't trust people that don't drink. Bars are the social glue in this state, damn it. And beer, it's a part of every social event. If you don't enjoy drinking frequently, Milwaukee can be a very alienating town. Oh my God. This place was crazy, and it was the first place I went into. I was like, shit. Place was packed. Too packed. I learned right away that good luck getting a table or a seat at a bar on a Friday or Saturday night in downtown Milwaukee. This place is so small. That's your bathroom. All right, YouTube, I'm in downtown Milwaukee for the first night. I'm trying to behave, but it ain't working. This town loves to drink. The state loves to drink. And I got sucked in once again. I'm back here at the Tiki Bar downtown. It's freezing cold, night one in Milwaukee, and I'm not doing a very good job of trying to behave. It's hard. It sucks you in. I'll tell you what. But I'm a fan. I like Milwaukee so far. It's clean and it's safe, and there's no BS down here. Everyone's in a good mood and they're partying. It's how it should be. And look, they had a buy a PBR, get 2 more PBRs free night. Man. And this was only night 1. Felt like I was that guy from, what's that fast food movie? When he eats all the McDonald's to see how it's going to affect his body. It's kind of what I was doing with beer. I'll tell you, when I got home from this trip, I didn't drink for a month. There's bars everywhere, and they're packed. Like, it just goes on and on and on. Good people. Everyone's friendly. Great place to be. Second night, we spent a lot of time on Water Street. That's Milwaukee's bar heartbeat area.
Chris.
The Marquette men's basketball game was on that night, and everybody told me, you need to go to Major Goolsby's to watch the game, Nick. So we did. It's another Mill staple. For dinner, we ate at the Brat House. And for the first time I was in this state, we ate Wisconsin's most famous food. We got the Brat sampler, and it was good, but not the spicy one. A website called Eater, I don't know if you've heard of that. It called Milwaukee the best city in the country for food one time. I know, right? And guess what else? Buy a beer, get 2 instead. This city, I tell ya. And then down the street is Mater's Nights Bar. It has this German theme. It got called the best bar in Wisconsin one time. There's so many famous places to get drunk here. It was on day 3 that I realized I'm just not fitting in here with this mustache. Uh-oh. Oh, shoot. No! Oh, God. Hardly anyone has one. Oh, my God. I don't know where I heard that everyone up here was stashed, but I was clearly wrong. What the hell? I look worse. Well, I guess I need a new razor. I can't be seen like this. There. Last night we were here, we just sort of wandered around. Somebody told me, you need to interview this local celebrity guy. Everybody calls him Milverine. He's this weird dude that walks around town. He doesn't wear a shirt. He poses for pictures. He's pretty famous. You should try to talk to him. So I friended the guy on Facebook. And look, we had a conversation, and he agreed to meet up with me. But then a couple hours before we were supposed to meet, he unfriended me, and then he blocked me on Facebook. What the hell? I feel so unimportant. Where's Milverine? Stood up by Milverine. Damn it, I really wanted to meet Milverine. It's where they made the old cheese heads that the Packers fans put on their selves during the game. But not anymore. They don't make them here. Kind of in the industrial side of town. One of the sides that's not spruced up. It's pretty gritty back here, but you can see they got all kinds of stuff going in. A shuffleboard themed bar. Never seen that before. These Midwest people, I tell ya, they got it all figured out with this inside drinking games stuff. Now you know me. I love to walk around downtowns. Well, you can stroll downtown Milwaukee and I don't have any trouble. I think this might be the biggest city I've been to since Boise or Fort Worth, where you could wander around and not feel unsafe or smell pee. We saw a furry walking around the last day. Now, if you don't know what a furry is, then you need more culture. Google it. But that's not Milwaukee. This is the Bronze Fawns. They built this because Happy Days took place in Milwaukee. Henry Winkler, he's a lot shorter than I thought he'd be. He might have been 5'7". And then that led me to my two final stops in Milwaukee. Now, I'd heard about this place called Lakefront Brewery. People said it's where they shot Laverne and Shirley, or some of the machines that were used in Laverne and Shirley are there. I don't know. Well, anyway, we got there. We went through this whole tour with bad beer. And then we realized there's no Laverne and Shirley history here anymore. The guy still played the song, though, just to humor everyone. Wow, look at all that beer. But that Miller tour, now that was first class. We learned a lot about beer making and the history of beer here in Milwaukee. Our awesome guide Ron explained that the Germans picked this city for beer brewing for 4 reasons. There was farmland all over, so they could grow their hops. There was a lot of water nearby for transportation. The weather here is cool, like it is over in Germany. Plus, people here drank already. Perfect place.
Alright, go down as much as you can. You can see more down this end. Welcome to the brew house. So, what's left is the brew house does not make beer, we make wort. And I will tell you what wort is in a little bit.
A lot of the buildings are still here. That's the original building where they kept the Clydesdales. They make 600,000 gallons of beer a day here. And not just Miller beer either. I learned that it takes 25 days to make beer from start to finish. And I also learned that 40% of the beer made here stays in Wisconsin. That's how much they drink in this state. Almost half the beer they make doesn't even leave the state's borders. And they give you beer on this tour. A lot of beer. A lot of beer. A lot of beer. My liver didn't like it, but my brain did.
Beer is 90% water. And this world's gonna have a big drought. Biden said so. Everyone in Ethiopia is starving.
Funny that you say that, because somebody here told me that you can survive on beer. So maybe we should send a bunch of beer over to Africa. Might take the edge off. We've got this awesome shared space. Private rooms. And this is the best part. Secret code to get in. Now, when we were in Milwaukee, we stayed at the fabulous Kin Guest House, right downtown. And I mean fabulous. Check this place out. And look at this bathroom. Looks like it's in a hotel lobby. Dang. I travel for a living, and I don't think I've ever stayed in a place so unusually hip and cool as the Kin Guest House. My buddy Charles owns a place. If they have rooms and you're in town, you should stay here. There's a link in my description. If you click that link, you get 15% off your next stay. No shit. And then get this. On our last night in town, we got word that we had to move rooms because the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City were coming to stay here. Well, that was neat. They had this big production crew in the hotel and security and everything. My manager was very excited about it all.
Now that's what I'm talking about. If the housewives like it here, so would I.
I don't think you'd fit in anywhere with that damn thing on your lip, Karen. Didn't you get the memo? People don't do that anymore.
I fit in anywhere, as long as there aren't trashy people.
See, that's part of the problem. The city's too divided. You're part of the problem. Milwaukee's been in the shadow of Chicago forever. But guess what? It's better than Chicago now. And you probably didn't know that. Milwaukee might be the most underrepresented city in the country now. The place gets no love and no attention. They just had a decent airport here and people didn't have to fly in Chicago. I could see it blowing up even more. You know me, I like my social scene. But it wasn't just the bars and restaurants that make the place awesome. It's completely way better than I expected. Everyone's nice, it's clean, it's fun, it's cheap, quirky and historic and energetic. There's tradition and pride here, and it's getting better. The mayor here thinks Milwaukee can get to 1 million people one day. Well, that's a tough order, since most people are leaving this part of the country. But I'm pulling for Milwaukee. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. This is my new favorite place. But shh.
So I hear it every day. People come in from various parts of the country, various parts of the world, not knowing really anything about Milwaukee, and they're always impressed. And it is that way for a reason. It's just an incredible city. It's always been in the shadows of Chicago, and I think it's just about time to explode because every day there's a new restaurant that opens up. The food scene is incredible here. They are clearly outpacing Chicago in the James Beard category every single year. There's a winner or a nominee here in this part of the state every year. Really, really exciting stuff here. And I think it just feels like it's a matter of time before people start to find it. It's really just a very easy version of Chicago. There's no traffic. I tell people it's 5 minutes anywhere, right? So it's just a very doable city, really pleasant, super clean. People are genuinely very, very friendly here. Bars and restaurants, like I said before, are just awesome, and like everything's within walking distance of this hotel, certainly.
I mean, it's obviously got its problems, but it's an up-and-coming place. There's always a lot more for that a lot of people don't expect to see around here. There's plenty of museums, a lot of restaurants. There's a big restaurant scene. Food is delicious. There's sports. There's a lot to do around here for sure. Mm-hmm. And it's definitely a hidden gem for sure.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that Milwaukee's underappreciated?
I think it is. Absolutely. I think it's because of the crime and all that. It's got a bad rep because of that. And, but there is just so much around here, and they're actually working hard to try to improve this area. Quite a bit. Especially downtown here, like here in downtown.
Yeah, talk to me about how Milwaukee's changed. You're from here.
I'm from here, yes.
In the 40 plus years that you've lived in this area, how has it changed?
I mean, there's a lot more growth out in the suburbs. Here it's been kind of, I mean, they're really redeveloping the downtown area. There's a lot of new skyscrapers. There's that Associated Bank Tower somewhere over there that's recently gone up. That's kind of come close to becoming the tallest building here. They've really gentrified a bit around like the Fond du Lac Avenue area a little bit, kind of in downtown. They're starting to put up some more luxury condos. They're putting in more restaurants. They're putting in more museums like the Art Museum. They're trying to kind of rebrand Milwaukee in a little bit more of a tourist-friendly sort of way, I would say.
Have you noticed a lot of people moving to the area?
Yes and no. Milwaukee's population, the city itself has probably still kind of declined a little bit, but it's kind of leveled out a little bit more. Like, I think the highest population we got here was maybe around 750K, and we're now sitting at about 570K. So it hasn't dropped as significantly as, say, like Detroit or any place like that. But out in the suburbs, it is growing like crazy. Like Waukesha County is probably the fastest growing county in the entire state. It's probably up to about 400,000 people, 500,000 people in the whole county now. So,
why are so many people moving to this area?
I think they are realizing like maybe they have to go here on a business trip, and they're probably thinking, oh, I have to go to Milwaukee. But then they get here and they realize there's just so much to do, and they actually want to come here. Still got a lot of crime to work out, and there's still a little bit of, I mean, Milwaukee's got that reputation of being a segregated place as well. There's a lot of, I don't know how to put it, but like the poorer African American in the Northwest area, there's not a whole lot of ethnic group intermingling, and there's a lot of trust issues, I would say, that comes with it, like all the white flight out in the Waukesha County. But I'd say it's not as pronounced as a lot of people seem to think it is. It's just that everyone's living in different places, but in general, everyone's been pretty friendly to each other.
Are you looking to move and need advice? I do consulting. That's right. I'll sit down and talk about where the next perfect place for you and your family should be. I do it all the time. Together, let's find you a new home that's safe and checks all your boxes. And I can also help you find your new house, too. Email me and I'll work with you on not just helping you figure out where to move, but I can help you find your perfect home, too. That's right. I know awesome, reliable agents all over the country, and I'd love to connect you to somebody who can help you search for that perfect home. And by the way, if you want to learn about where you should live, you should go to my website, homesnacks.com/findyourplace. On my website, you get tips on where you should move and what the costs are, and a whole lot more. It's like an AI Nick Johnson consultation for free. And if you want to buy some Mappy gear, click the store link on my homepage. From there, you can check out the latest merch. There's hoodies, coffee cups, stickers, and shirts. Show off how much you love Mappy and support the channel. And I'm on Cameo too. If you want me to send you or somebody you know a personalized video message, go to Cameo and search Nick Johnson YouTube. It's fun. Hey guys, if you learned something new about America or what it's like to live in America, great. You should think about subscribing and turning on your notifications. You can also click one of these videos or playlists for more.
Hey YouTube world, I'm Sage, Nick's manager. You've enjoyed a Corner House Entertainment production, so watch another one.